Lagos Talks
91.3.
News.
President Muhammadu Buhari has left Abuja for Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, to participate in the 36th ordinary session of the Assembly of the African Union. The president will deliver remarks at these events as well as present his national statement at the opening session of the summit, which brings together leaders from the AU member countries as well as a number of non-AU countries and international institutions accredited to the AU in Addis Ababa. President Buhari will participate in 3 high-level meetings on peace and security, climate change, and political situation in some West African countries. The president will be back in Abuja on Monday, the 20th of February. Before his departure, President Muhammadu Buhari had approved the recirculation of only old 200 Naira notes to ease Naira scarcity faced across the country. The president announced this during a nationwide broadcast on Thursday, said the old 200 Naira will be in circulation alongside the newly redesigned notes till the 10th of April, while old 500 Naira notes, 1,000 Naira notes ceases to be a legal tender but acceptable for deposits at Central Bank of Nigeria branches nationwide.
Further ease the supply pressures, particularly to our citizens, I have given approval to the CBN that the old 200 Naira banknotes be released back into circulation and that it should also be allowed to circulate as legal tender with the new 200 Naira, 500 Naira and 1,000 Naira banknotes for 60 days from February 10th, 2023 to April 10th, 2023, when the old 200 Naira note ceases to be legal tender.
President Buhari, who pledged that his administration will continue to assess the implementation with a view to ensuring the Nigerians are not unnecessarily burdened, also directed the Apex Bank to intensify collaboration with anti-corruption agencies so as to ensure that any institutional persons found to have impeded or sabotaged the implementation be prosecuted by the law.
I have similarly directed the CBN should intensify collaboration with anti-corruption agencies so as to ensure that any institution or persons found to have impeded or sabotaged the implementation should be made to bear the full weight of the law.
In the meantime, the Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Mr. Godwin Emefiele, says he has met with 15 bank executives and directed them to make the old 200 Naira notes available from yesterday, Thursday, just as he appealed to Nigerians to allow the Naira redesign policy of the government to work. Speaking after meeting with the President and House of Representatives at a committee on Naira redesign and swap policy, the CBN governor further said allowing the currency swap to work will go a long way to help the nation's economy.
This policy is one policy that goes to solve the problem of reducing corruption and illicit financial flows. This policy goes to resolve some of the problems in the economy. This policy also goes to reducing the level of insecurity in the country. So these 3 issues, which are the tripod of this administration's policy, are all embedded in this policy. We should just allow it to work. We keep saying this. There are some temporary pains, but I can assure Nigerians that the long-run benefit to Nigeria is overwhelming and we should just give it a chance to work. The President has given his directives. I have met with about 15 banks this morning later, and we've given them directives about how they should make all the old 200 Naira notes available effective today. And I can assure Nigerians that this will help to reduce the pains.
The CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele. However, addressing newsmen after the meeting, the chairman of the House of Reps Special Ad hoc Committee on Cashless Policy, Honorable Ado Duguwa, had fumed that going into an election with hard cash will put members of the National Assembly and politicians at a disadvantage. Without hard cash, irrespective of the political party that they belong. He affirmed that each member of the House of Reps is entitled to 70 million naira cash to pay polling agents and for other election running costs, noting that the cash crunch will affect the coming elections.
1 billion for presidential candidates. At least the law provided for us the amount of money we need to oversee our election process. You need to pay your agents in the villages where you don't have ATM machines, in the villages where absolutely you don't have this new naira. So this is money that I require, that the law has permitted me to have 70 million naira as logistics for my election funding. I need to have this 70 million naira in hard copy. If this policy continues this way, if the central bank fails to make available this amount of this money we need to fund our elections, definitely every candidate, no matter what party he belongs to, will be put at disadvantage. That the policy in itself is a policy that is apparently against the ruling APC, because Nigerians that are not happy will look at it as a policy of the government of the APC. This has placed us at disadvantage already.
There was the chairman of the House of Reps Special Ad hoc Committee on Cashless Policy, Honorable Ado Dugoa. Meanwhile, the Inspector General of Police, Usman Baba, says the Nigeria Police Force will deploy 310,973 personnel to ensure a peaceful and secure atmosphere across the nation before, during, and after the 2023 general elections. The police IG, who made this known yesterday, said the force's efforts will be augmented by 93,495 additional personnel comprising the National Security and Civil Defense Corps, the NSCDC, and Nigeria Correctional Service, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, as well as the EFCC.
The Nigeria Police, with support of other security agencies, have perfected plans to deploy in a coordinated and collaborative manner to cover all these locations. The deployment will cover the National Collation Center in Abuja, as well as other collation centers across the states of the Federation, the FCT, and the 774 local government areas of the Federation. In view of the above, the Nigeria Police will deploy 310,973 personnel for the election security operations. This will comprise of conventional policemen, the mobile policemen, the Special Counter-Terrorism Unit, the Special Forces, Intelligence Response Team, and other sections of the police.
Oba of Lagos, Oba Rilwan Akiolu, has described the Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi as a complete gentleman who is free to visit him at his palace anytime he wishes. The Oba was reacting to allegations by a female supporter of the Labour Party candidate who had accused the monarch of rejecting the moves by Peter Obi to visit him at his Idugoro palace. Oba Akiolu spoke during a courtesy visit to his palace by the former Lagos Commissioner of Police, CP Alabi, who came in company of the new Commissioner of Police, Idowu Owonwa. Oba Akiolu further said he has a cordial relationship with the Igbos in Lagos, adding that the late president of Ohanes and Igbo, Chief George Obiozo, was his close friend.
Try to hold your religion. If you are a Christian or Muslim, make sure you practice only in the native believers, and all will be well for you. And look after the welfare of the people under you. That is very, very important. Everybody in this palace, they know me that I don't take nonsense, but I don't have reservoir of knowledge.
The United States government has returned $954,000 stolen by the former governor of Bayelsa State, Dieprie Alamesia, to the state government through the federal government. U.S. Ambassador to Nigeria Mary Beth Leonard announced the development at a press briefing on Thursday afternoon in Abuja. She said the official salary of the former governor during his tenure as a public servant from 1999 to his impeachment in 2005 did not match the said amount. President Muhammadu Buhari has immediately directed that the said sum be utilized in developing the health care of Bayelsa State. Alamesia had died October 2015 at the age of 62. Also, the National Examinations Council, NECO, has released the 2022 November-December Senior School Certificate Exam results with 57% of candidates scoring 5 credits and above. The Registrar and Chief Executive, Professor Dantani Wushishi, made the official announcement of the results at the NECO headquarters in Minna yesterday, adding that a total of 60,133 candidates registered for the exams. Wushishi further noted that 33,914 candidates, representing 57.36%, got 5 credits and above, including English language and mathematics. He, however, lamented that state governments still owed the council over 3 billion naira for the SSCE examination in the country. The National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NACON, says the deadline for the remittance of 50% deposits of 2023 Hajj allocations by states and FCT Pilgrims Board remains February 28. The chairman and chief executive officer of NACON, Alhaji Zikrullah Hassan, had made this known yesterday, adding that any state that failed to meet up with the deadline would forfeit their Hajj allocation or risk reduction. Outside of Nigeria, Pope Francis has dismissed speculations that he plans to follow the example of his predecessor Benedict by retiring. The Pope, who is 86 and often uses a wheelchair, said he believed that the job was for life. He added a historical tradition was important and stepping down was not on his agenda. The remarks were made during a meeting earlier this month in the Democratic Republic of Congo, but have only just been made public. The death of Benedict at the end of last year had led some observers to suggest that Pope Francis might now consider stepping down due to ill health. Elsewhere, South African President Cyril Ramaphosa has announced the resignation of his deputy, David Mabuza, thanking him for his unwavering support over the last 5 years. Local reports says it comes as no surprise, as Mr. Mabuza had already announced earlier this month he will be stepping down. He will, however, stay on in the post until the South African president announces his successor, widely expected to be new ANC Deputy President Paul Mashatile. A cabinet reshuffle is expected next week once South Africa's annual budget is announced. The government is under pressure to prove it has the answers to the country's economic woes and rolling blackouts. It is straight to business news. National Petroleum Company Limited says the rehabilitation of 3 refineries in the country, which it has embarked on, will reduce fuel scarcity. NNPC Limited Executive Vice President Danladi Inua had disclosed this week during a workshop sensitization program with the Natives, a civil society organization in Abuja, that the Port Harcourt refinery will start operations by the second quarter of this year, adding that the Warri and Kaduna refineries have been contracted for quick rehabilitation. In the meantime, the NNPC Limited says Nigeria is going to save about 367.2 billion naira annually through the domestic refining of crude oil to premium motor spirits, better known as petrol, according to the NNPC's Group Chief Executive Mele Kyari. And lastly, sports news this morning. The FIFA Women's World Cup Trophy Tour will make a stop in Nigeria on Sunday, the 26th of March 2023. It was disclosed in a media release by FIFA. The tour will take the iconic trophy to all 32 of the tournament's participating nations, more countries than ever before. The Super Falcons of Nigeria is one of Africa's representatives at this year's Women's World Cup, to be co-hosted by Australia and New Zealand.
Lagos Talks
91.3.
News.